The Biden administration a few weeks ago released its national security strategy, a sort of manual for how it sees the world, the threats that are out there, and how it expects to deal with those. Reading this document is a little dismaying because you get the idea that although the United States has the resources to defend itself, has the intelligence to be able to spot what the threats are. It's not as if they're not obvious. Yet there's almost a willful disregard of the fact that we live in a dangerous world. And so as you go through the different sections of this national security strategy, you see sections on climate change, sections on gender, sections on protecting, quote, our democracy, sections on inclusion, transparency, quote, investing in women and girls, the Africa Build Together campaign, exposing disinformation, everything except a clear statement of this is the danger we face, an emerging powerful alliance between China and Russia and Iran, all of them individually posing a severe threat, but combined, their threat is quite serious. And yet, no real discussion of U.S. national interest, no discussion about the vulnerabilities of the American population. So it's almost as if you're standing on a train track, and here is this locomotive coming at you with blinding speed. Now, you have the ability to jump off the tracks. You have the ability even to sort of blow up the locomotive if you have to, if it's posing a serious threat to your life and to your liberty. And yet, you are kind of whistling, composing a poem, thinking it would be nice to, noticing objects and checking out certain flowers and trees. This is the tone of this Biden national security strategy. Let's remember, China already has a navy that is bigger than the United States. Let's remember that China has now developed largely the capacity to launch an attack upon Taiwan, which would be very difficult to see how the United States could effectively prevent, could effectively stop, and without incurring just unbelievable escalation and unbelievable casualties, not just over there, but also over here. The United States needs to work assiduously to make closer alliances with Japan, with Australia, with South Korea, with India. Now, it's in the interest of these countries to do this, and yet you have no sense of urgency on the part of the Biden Defense Department or the State Department that we need to cement our alliances because we need to protect ourselves and our interests all over the world. You don't get any feeling for that in this national security strategy. Also, you can see that the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranians are all hard at work in our hemisphere. They're hard at work in Venezuela. They're hard at work in South America. They're trying to build a local base where they can launch operations, military operations against the United States. And so some form of the Monroe Doctrine, stay out of our neighborhood, would seem to be vital. Let's remember, this is exactly what Russia is asserting over the Ukraine. It's exactly what China is asserting over Taiwan. Hey, this is our neighborhood. These are our kind of people. Taiwan is really a part of China. The United States, on the other hand, should consider some equivalent statement about our neighborhood, which is the neighborhood of the Americas, and yet you get no sense that the Monroe Doctrine is even under consideration in this foolish and short-sighted Biden operation. And so the conclusion is, regimes that operate like this, and when you're a rich country and a powerful country, you can afford to do this for a pretty long period of time. But eventually things catch up with you. Eventually your enemies catch up with you. Eventually you find that other people have grown stronger while you have stayed the same, or you've grown more feeble and weaker. And then comes that horrible day of reckoning where it's time to acknowledge that your power has diminished. You're not the big lumbering giant you thought you were. The world remains as dangerous a place as ever. And now you have a shriveled and perhaps more precarious place within it.